Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Snyder's Inc. And today we're going to look at 3 disturbing 911 calls with backstories. Oh, 911 calls always give me thing, and there's one I'm worried is going to be on here. Because when it comes to creepy 911 calls, there's always one that just creeps in. Fucking disturbs me to my core and fucks me up the rest of the day every time. We'll get right into it. This is from a channel called Mr. Nightmare. Ladies and gentlemen, I need y'all to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment what you think down below. Let's go.
Sean Great stalked northern Ohio between 2006 and 2016, slaughtering women after assaulting them. He's now on death row awaiting execution, thanks to one would-be victim's bravery. The following 911 call you're about to hear is of that would-be victim and is possibly one of the most tense 911 calls you'll ever hear. On September 13, 2016, Ashland police received a phone call from an unknown woman who police referred to as Jane Doe, who whispered that she had been kidnapped and was tied up mere feet away from her sleeping abductor. She tried to describe the man who was holding her captive and the house she was in. The best she could manage was that it was next to the 4th Street laundromat.
I've heard this call before, but I'll let this play because we don't know if there's people in here who have not.
911, what is the address to your emergency?
By the 4th Street laundromat.
What is it?
4th Street laundromat.
What's the problem?
I've been abducted.
Who abducted you?
Sean Green.
You said John Green?
Sean Great.
Where's she at now?
Asleep.
Where's she sleeping at?
In the bedroom.
In what bedroom?
There's 2 houses right by the laundry street. And it's in one of those houses.
What color's the house?
Yellow. Please.
I'll give credit to this woman. I will give credit to this woman. Because this woman is playing a very dangerous game. Just like it's good on her. Absolute pride of her. Deserves all the respect for taking that risk of calling 911. But if she would have gotten caught, she probably wouldn't have lived to tell the tale, judging by how this guy is. So I will give credit to this woman. And for this dispatcher. In fairness, in this video at least, in this call, dispatcher, because I've heard some bad 911 dispatcher calls. This woman, the dispatcher here, asking the right questions, but she probably understands the severity of the situation, so she understands, listen, she can't be, this woman's whispering. She's very quiet. You can tell she's scared. So she has to kind of work with that. And she does it very well.
Sorry.
Is it an apartment?
No, it's a house.
Okay, does he own the house?
No, he broke into.
Does anybody actually live there?
I think they've been abandoned.
Does he have a weapon?
He's got a taser.
Are you injured?
A little.
Where did he take you from?
My apartment. I was walking with him.
You were walking with him?
Mm-hmm.
Where were you walking to?
I've known him for like a month and a half.
Is there any way you can get out of the building?
I don't know without waking him, and I'm scared.
Is there a bathroom in the house?
Well, his bedroom is closed, and he made it so it would make noise.
But if you told him he had to go to the bathroom, he would do something?
He's I like the way I worded it where she goes, he made it so it'd make noise. So I'm going to assume he has it where if the door opens, it would hit something. So if it opened, it hit something in any sort of way. So it would wake him if she tried to escape during the night. It's sick on how smart that is. But it's good on her, she knows that. So she can't just... Because some people, if they listen to they would just take the police at their word of, hey, get out of there, and they just go for it, even though they're risking their own lives. So, smart on him, smart on her, for knowing she couldn't do that wasn't an option.
Thank you.
Yeah, because he had me tied up.
So are you tied up now?
Well, yeah, but I kind of freed myself.
Smart?
Is he in the same room with you?
Yes.
That's probably where she got it, the vibe of, oh, okay, she can't just leave. She's in the same room as, okay. That's probably where it clicked for the 911 application. It was like, okay, I now know why she's not just leaving.
Are you bleeding from anywhere?
Not anymore. Oh, shit. Oh, shit, I woke him up.
You just set the phone down.
Smart woman. Smart 911 operator there. Woman's like, okay, put the phone down, just act fine. Don't do anything. Put the phone down. Interesting though that his response when he woke up was just to do the taser. Like, I don't know if he's near the taser, so like any little movement sets it off, or what happened. Very weird.
While the 911 dispatcher continued talking the caller through escaping, Jane accidentally knocked over her captor's taser, waking him. The line went dead briefly, and she was suddenly minutes away from being the 6th victim of the serial killer Sean Great. And by this point, the police knew they had to race if they wanted any chance of saving the helpless woman. Great sat up in his bed and stared at the floor, before laying back down again, not realizing that Jane was on the phone with the police.
Okay, so he woke up, saw the taser on the floor, probably thought he might have knocked it over, and then went back to sleep, completely oblivious to what was going on. That's like the woke up midway, but he probably wasn't even really thinking. Like, he wasn't like in full wake up mode where he would be checking on the girl and all that. He just like did the what's going on? Nothing much. Just went back to bed. Just that.
Are you still there?
I'm a smoker.
What?
I'm a smoker.
Do you hear any officers outside?
No.
Okay, they're in the area. Can you get out of the house?
Locked.
It's locked. Are you at the door?
Yeah, I am.
She's at the door.
What?
She's at the door on the right side of the house. She got out of the bedroom. Is there a window there?
Yeah, I'm looking out of it. Tell them to come back.
She said...
Hurry, hurry.
She said to hurry up and come back.
Yeah, they can see me if they
It's
come
locked.
to it.
The door is locked.
Come out, hurry up, get out of here. Where is it?
Bedroom sleeping.
Still sleeping?
Yeah.
Okay, they have her.
You went on her armed.
Unarmed?
Yeah.
I'll give credit to that girl. I'm surprised she got out of the bedroom. She was able to get out of the bedroom. Either she took the risk and it just happened to do it, or she just got lucky. But thank God she got out. That's the main thing.
No, you can't be in there. Here, cover yourself up. Tell me what happened. What happened?
Their rescue of the woman and arrest of Great was heard on the call. Thankfully, the woman survived.
I'll say good on them for not. I'm gonna be honest. Good on them for not revealing the identity of this woman. It's probably best they don't, We don't need this woman being haunted by this or being reminded of this, because people are going to ask questions. And you don't need to ask questions. This woman needs to be left alone, so good on them for not revealing the identity.
This ordeal, though likely not without having some lasting scarring effects on her. As a teenager growing up in Marion, Ohio, Sean Great was well liked, particularly by girls. He had a charm about him that would mask his inner rage, at least for a while. When he was 18, he was arrested for grabbing his then-girlfriend by the throat. A few years later, he was arrested for breaking into his 17-year-old girlfriend's home and choking her, and only 8 months later, he broke into the same girl's house again, this time slipping underneath her couch and hiding until he saw an opportunity to strike. This time he had a butcher knife in hand. But Great's charm and artificial friendliness allowed him to go on and have 3 children with 3 different women, but his inner anger would never lay dormant for long. His ex-wife, Amber Nicole Bowman, claims that Sean at one point said, "If I can't see my daughter, no one will." By his mid to late 20s, Great's behavior became more erratic. He would begin dating Christina Hildreth. The pair were happy and content in the beginning, but Great couldn't hide his true colors for long. Not only did he become violent, controlling, and jealous, he would also show signs of being cold and indifferent towards his confused girlfriend, and would eventually end up physically abusing her.
So was he violent with you?
Yes.
In what way?
He broke my hand, blacked my eye, strangled me, tied me up.
But his hostility would soon extend beyond just romantic partners, and even to friends, when he asked his friend for a loan, which was declined, and in response, he sent his friend a disturbing text saying, "Meet the other me." Eventually, Great would find himself living in Mansfield, hopping from woman to woman, and around this time, he met his first 2 victims, Rebecca Lisi and Candace Cunningham. Rebecca was a sex worker, and her body was found in March 2015. Her death was ruled an overdose originally, but Great later pleaded guilty to her murder. Candace Cunningham lived with Great in Mansfield before her disappearance in 2015. Police couldn't find her until the day of Great's arrest, when he led police to her body, which was lying behind a burned-down house in Richland County on the day of his arrest. Great managed to somehow become even more barbaric towards his next and final victim, Jane, who you heard in the phone call just before. Jane met Sean Great around her apartment complex, and he eventually gained her trust. That was when he exposed her to his true self. He trapped her in an abandoned house and forced her to endure days of torture and other unspeakable things while she was tied up. Great barely slept on the first night of his victim's capture, giving her no chance of escape. However, after another day of torture, Great eventually passed out. His phone was right next to him going off, but he was seemingly in a very deep sleep.
Ah, so he went like 2 days without sleep. That's why he was so disturbedly so disturbed and in a deep sleep. Is literally he's gone 2 days almost without sleeping. So he just passed out and was in a deep sleep, which gave it a chance.
So Jane took this opportunity as her likely last chance to escape alive, and she reached over his sleeping body as stealthily as she could to pick up the phone and dialed 911 while still partially bound. And that was the start of the 911 call. When police arrived at the property, they were met with more bodies than they'd expected. Great had been mercilessly killing the women who were unfortunate enough to trust him, and some of them were decomposing in the house he was squatting in. The 911 operator received a lot of hate and ridicule over her loud voice and constant seemingly unnecessary questions during the call, as many people believe she could have very easily led to Great being awoken, either by the sound of her voice or because of all the questions she was making Jane answer. Thankfully, things went the way they did, and this
I disagree. Maybe this is a me thing. I disagree with that statement. I would say, maybe I can understand the woman's loud voice. Maybe I can understand that. I had people near me hear phone calls because the person's loud. So that I will agree with. The questions, I partially disagree with. Like, is she injured? Are you bleeding? Does he have a weapon? Like, there's some question. Where he abducted you from maybe didn't need to be asked there. She did need to know that information at that moment. That wasn't important. So, I disagree with the question part. There were a few she didn't need to ask, but it wouldn't be like, it'd be like, oh my god, she has so many unnecessary questions. Just a few. But I still say the 911 operator handled it better than I've seen.
911 call was a very fortunate story, as it got a monster off the streets who no doubt wouldn't have stopped doing what he was doing. The call you're about to hear was made by millionaire James Bob Ward, reporting that he had just shot his wife. His tone throughout the call is very monotone, calm, and nonchalant, considering the matter for which he's making the call. The real estate mogul claims he walked into his and his wife's room to turn in for the night, and was shocked to find his allegedly depressed and intoxicated 51-year-old wife, Diane, holding his Magnum handgun. Bob says the weapon accidentally discharged while he was struggling to get it away from her before she could kill herself or him, or the both of them. This was the call.
Yeah, what's the emergency?
I just shot my wife.
You just what?
I just shot my wife.
Where's your wife?
She's right here on the floor. Please send somebody at 5277 Iowa Country Club Drive.
Okay, what's going on there?
I just shot my wife.
I'm sorry. The way he said that, that time broke me. He's like, because he said, I just shot my wife. Like, he said it like 3 times. And then when she goes, what's going on? And he's like, I just shot my wife. Like, I just said that. I'm sorry. I still didn't even... It was just I just shot my wife. Like, he just said it. Like, he's like, I just said it.
You just shot your wife?
I shot my wife, yes, please. Send somebody over.
Stay on my woman. Let me add the fire department. Don't hang up.
I will.
I'm more also hilariously finding it funny that his monotone his voice, I'm trying to think what it could be. Because if it is an accidental shooting, it could be shock. The thing that's weird is I don't know how far the shock's going. Because if he's done CPR and tried to save her and she's just dead, then like it could be just shock and he's just has no reaction. Because sometimes this probably would be the case for me. It would take a bit before it sinks in. It doesn't, for me, when I find out someone's died, it doesn't click right away. It takes a while. It takes a good amount, it takes some time before it like sinks in and then the reaction gets in, the emotions come in and all that. Here, it could be just shock. And it's not like it just like his body's just gone into completely frozen. He just knows he has to call 911, so that's why he has no emotion at all.
Where's the weapon at, sir?
Orange County Fire Rescue. The address of your emergency?
44.
5277 Iowa Country Club Drive.
On there.
I just shot my wife.
Okay, where's the weapon?
It's in
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Where is she breathing?
No, she's dead.
You know that for sure.
I think so, yes.
Okay, sir, where is the weapon?
It's in the nightstand next to the bed in the master bedroom. And I'll be glad to meet the officers at the front door.
Where is your wife, sir?
She's in the floor in the master bedroom.
How old is she?
Born in 1954.
Okay, you're sure she's not breathing or?
She's dead. She's done. I'm sorry.
Sir, did you purposely do this?
No.
Or was it an accident?
It was an accident.
How long ago did...
I've never heard a 911 operator ask that question. I don't know if that's just a me thing, but I've listened to some now. I have never heard a 911 call or ask, did you do this on purpose or was it an accident? I'm gonna be honest, I've just never heard that question asked before. And I don't think you really should ask that question, because I don't think it matters how they answer it. I think you should, you'll know, because if it's 911, if it's done on purpose, you can tell by the tone. Here, I'm very conflicted, because it could be shock, but it could be that he just shot his wife. Like, it could be either or, and he's just nonchalant about it. I can't tell.
Did this happen, sir?
probably 5 minutes ago. I'm on the front steps.
You're out on the front
There.
steps?
Yeah, I'm on the front steps.
Okay.
I'm leaving the front gate from the front steps. We'll go upstairs and we'll find Diane. Yeah, they're passing. You told me back up.
Did you see the deputy?
Yeah, I see lights, but they're somewhere back up. That's them back up. Hey, guys, over here. Over here. Guys, over here. Hey, you're on the phone. I'm making the front stop. No, I got him on the phone. We're good.
We can hang up with him. Okay.
Bob was charged with second-degree murder of Diane. He has always claimed the gun went off when he was trying to get it away from Diane, but prosecutors believe the two were arguing over financial problems, and that's why Bob shot her. Now it was up to a jury to decide, but to this day the question is, was Diane Ward's death really just a tragic accident, or did her husband Bob murder her in cold blood? Well, not too long ago, a significant discovery of a letter from the grave may finally answer the question that's confounded the justice system and haunted the Ward family since the day Diane died. Bob and Diane had it all, a happy 26-year-old marriage, 2 daughters, and enough money to own numerous luxurious estates in several states. Daughters Sarah and Mallory say they and their parents were a loving, tight-knit family. But eventually, Bob's real estate empire collapsed under the weight of the Great Recession, and even though Bob was facing bankruptcy, his daughters claimed he remained optimistic, but not Diane, who grew increasingly low-spirited over the prospect of losing the family fortune. Sarah said her mother vainly tried to ease her depression with booze and prescription drugs, and that she would turn into a different person far from the loving mom she knew, and completely out of control even in public.
So yeah, this woman is going through some shit. This woman's mental health is just not well, because she's gonna lose the money. So, yeah, it could be possible he actually just accidentally shot her, and he is just in complete shock, and that's why he's not able to react.
She said her mother was also directing all her anger and resentment at her father, after having to cut back on some of the luxuries the family grew used to, and Sarah says her father was like her mother's punching bag. Bob's defense attorneys painted Diane as a suicidal and unstable person, and in 2018, his defense attorneys produced new evidence. A suicide note written by Diane was found in the couple's Atlanta home. It was reportedly found by an estate sales professional in the closet in the master bedroom. She stated that she was on a ladder in a small closet in the bedroom when she noticed a pink notebook next to some hair rollers. She opened the notebook and found a note and some cards with Diane Ward printed on them. The alleged suicide note read, "Dear Mallory and Sarah, please know how much I love you. I don't know how it happened for me to end up like this. I want you to have wonderful lives and know that I will always be watching out for both of you. Take care of Daddy. I love you more than you will ever know. Take care of the dogs, they will need you." Defense attorneys claim that a former FBI handwriting expert could testify that he thinks the handwriting is indeed that of Diane Ward. So this all begs the question, is what Bob says true? Was his shooting of his wife an accident? But if this were the case, Bob's calm and seemingly unaffected tone over the phone with 911, and even during his police interrogation, wouldn't make much sense.
Then you're doing it rather than...
It could still be shock, although I will admit, like, even if I was in shock, I think if police interrogated me, my reaction would be a bit more. But then again, I don't know. I've never experienced that type of death. I've never experienced a death where I had to be questioned by police afterwards. So maybe maybe I'm full talking and I don't know.
Reading glasses anybody has.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I have my pair.
Thank you.
I may
I have a folding pair, but I think they took them. Thank you.
Oh.
Like I said, I'm Detective Frost. I didn't get your name, your first name.
I go by Bob.
Okay.
But it's James Robert.
It would be a safe assumption that anyone who just accidentally murdered their wife would show any kind of remorse or regret, but Bob was calm and seemingly unaffected throughout. He's still in prison today. This last one has been circulating the internet for decades, and you've likely heard it before. In fact, I've included it in a video I privated many years ago. I'm sure some of you remember, but new information has arisen on this call recently.
This is Ruth.
No! No! It's this call! It's always this call! This is the call that fucks me up. It will never not fuck me up. No! Damn you, Mr. Nightmare! I hate you! Uh-huh. This phone call, I'm not even joking, has messed up my head. Every time I hear it, it's just one I can't unhear. It's one that never leaves, and none that will never leave. It'll haunt me.
Price is $38.77. What's the problem, ma'am? Oh, there's some guy.
Hey, 911 operator, you just cut her off. She was trying to tell you address, you dumb bitch.
Been checking the place out. Oh. Well, he went in the back. I have an apartment in the back, and he said he was looking for a guy. And he comes to my door, and and said he's looking for an apartment. So I live alone, and I'm an old lady. Mm-hmm. Where is he now, ma'am? I don't have no idea.
For the longest time, this phone call was commonly just referred to as things like old woman murdered during 911 call. For a long time, people speculated that this call is just a hoax, or a choreo...
Who has thought this was a hoax? Who could look at that and think that's a hoax? You can't, no, you, fuck you. This has, I would never think this looks as a call. This is one of those calls. This call has literally haunted me since the first time I heard it, because I've never been, it's just one of those calls that it just eats you up. It just makes you, it makes your skin crawl. Oh, if anyone told me this was fake, I'd hit them in the face.
Photographed recording for 911 operator training. Eventually, though, the woman's name was revealed to be Ruth Price, and it was learned that the call was in fact real. However, the internet was still having a hard time gathering any further information on this Ruth Price woman, or what her fate was after the phone call. The unfortunate assumption that she was murdered shortly after this call was always the go-to assumption. At the beginning of the call, Ruth begins to give her address as 3877, but is cut off by the 911 operator. During this 911 call, Ruth presents herself as an elderly woman who's concerned about a man who knocks on her door saying he's looking for an apartment. Ruth pauses after giving this information. Then you hear a blood-curdling scream, and Ruth says something about not being able to breathe. Recently, though, information as to who this Ruth Price woman was finally surfaced. Ruth Mildred Starr was born in Pueblo, Colorado on December 7, 1913. Ruth went to Central High School in Pueblo, Colorado, and this was her yearbook photo. Ruth's obituary was recently found, which shows that she died in 1994 in the San Diego Union-Tribune. Ruth was also mentioned in a newspaper section called Assaults on November 3, 1980 in the San Diego Evening Tribune. In this newspaper clipping, it says Ruth M. Price was assaulted on the 3800 block of 35th Street.
This is Ruth Price at 3877.
This newspaper clipping which you see here fits the Ruth Price 911 call perfectly. It wasn't a hoax, and it wasn't a 911 training call. That blood-curdling scream was unfortunately very real. But fortunately, even in Ruth's old age, she managed to fight off her attacker and live for another 14 years.
Thank you for that information. Oh my god, I have never had a call information put me more at ease with a 911 call in my life. That call, I always assumed I had heard the last of that woman, because they're like, you don't scream like that in my mind. That attack I thought had to have been brutal and ruthless, and this guy just, she like died. Whoever that 911 caller was, I hope got fired. I hope got fired. And was like, because that's not how you deal with it. There's a whole dissection. I would do a whole reaction this in the bad 911 operators. Because they're bad. There are some terrible ones that don't even deserve to have the job they have.
What seems like a realistic possibility now is that this call was used to shock trainees for 911 call taking because of how blood-curdling and disturbing her panic screaming was, and thus was born the legend of an old woman brutally murdered while on the phone with 911. At least this story had a much happier ending than originally thought.
Agreed. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you all enjoyed this reaction video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all for the next one.